hard part is you don't know what it's like until you are attacked. Yeah. And that's part of the reason I would like some of the men from Silicon Valley.
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa...
Like, it was Facebook.
No, I mean, primarily Facebook, but, you know, I would say for 6 years, these are stats.
The Nobel Laureate just shattered the internet. Maria Ressa's tearful tribute to Alex Eala sends shockwaves across the globe. Exclusive bombshell revelations you can't miss. The air is electric, the tension palpable, and the pride? Absolutely overwhelming. Welcome back to Champions Tennisitics, the only place where we bring you the raw, unfiltered, beating heart of tennis glory wrapped in Filipino excellence. What you're about to hear isn't just another sports update or a routine match recap. Oh no, this is the collision of two unstoppable forces, two Filipino titans who have conquered their respective worlds against all odds. And when their paths crossed, the universe itself seemed to pause and take notice. Just hours ago, the internet exploded. Social media timelines flooded. Group chats went absolutely berserk. Why? Because Maria Ressa, the woman who stared down tyranny and won the Nobel Peace Prize for her unwavering commitment to truth, just dropped an emotional bombshell that has sent ripples through every corner of the Filipino community and beyond. The target of her heartfelt praise? None other than our tennis queen, the phenomenal, the unstoppable, the history-making Alex Eala. If you think you've heard it all about Alex's incredible journey, think again. Because what we're about to unveil will give you chills you didn't know your body could produce. This isn't just about tennis. This isn't just about sports. This is about legacy, representation, national pride, and two women who refuse to be defined by limitations. So strap in, because Champions Tennisitics is about to take you on a ride through one of the most powerful moments in recent Filipino sports history. Let's dive straight into the eye of the storm. The news that has everyone from Manila to New York talking came through like a lightning bolt. Maria Ressa, a woman whose name is synonymous with courage, integrity, and unyielding determination, couldn't contain the swell of pride bursting from her chest when she spoke about Alex Eala. In what can only be described as a moment of pure, unfiltered emotion, Ressa delivered words that have now become the rallying cry for every Filipino sports fan around the world. She is making the Philippines shine brilliantly, Ressa declared, her voice carrying the weight of deep admiration and unmistakable pride. But those 7 words, as powerful as they are, barely scratched the surface of what was said. Ressa didn't just casually mention Alex in passing conversation. She didn't offer a polite nod or a standard congratulations. No, what we witnessed was something far more profound. This was recognition from someone who understands what it means to carry the weight of an entire nation on your shoulders. This was validation from a woman who has faced down the most powerful forces imaginable and emerged victorious. This was one champion recognizing another, one warrior acknowledging the battles being fought by someone walking a similarly lonely and treacherous path. Maria Ressa looked at Alex Eala and saw not just a tennis player racking up wins and climbing rankings, but a symbol, a beacon, a representative of Filipino excellence on the most unforgiving global stage imaginable. What Alex is doing is not just for herself, Ressa stated with unmistakable conviction. It is for something far greater. Let those words sink in for a moment. Every time Alex steps onto that court, every time she grips her racket and stares across the net at an opponent, she isn't just competing for personal glory or prize money or ranking points. She is carrying the aspirations of millions. She is embodying the Filipino spirit of resilience, determination, and refusing to accept limits that others try to impose. She is showing the world that Filipinos belong on every stage, in every arena, competing at the highest levels with anyone and everyone. Ressa sees this. She understands it intimately because she's lived it herself in a completely different battlefield. And her recognition of Alex's mission has elevated this young athlete's journey from remarkable sports story to something approaching national treasure status. Now, you might be wondering why this moment is happening now. Why is Maria Ressa, of all people, speaking out about Alex Eala at this particular time? The answer, my friends, is that we are living through an absolutely extraordinary chapter in Alex Eala's already incredible story. If you haven't been paying attention to the WTA rankings lately, you need to wake up because you're missing the ascent of a legitimate legend in real time. Just days ago, Alex Eala shattered her own career ceiling, smashing through barriers that have stood for decades in Filipino tennis history. She climbed to a career-high ranking of world number 45. Let me say that again, louder for the people in the back. Alex Eala is ranked number 45 in the entire world. She is officially the highest-ranked Filipino player in the entire history of the Women's Tennis Association, and she shows absolutely no signs of slowing down. This isn't some fluke. This isn't beginner's luck or a hot streak that will fizzle out. This is the culmination of years of grinding, sacrificing, training in foreign countries away from family, battling through injuries, facing down defeats that would have broken lesser athletes, and coming back stronger every single time. Alex didn't politely knock on the door of
because
tennis
history
elite
is being made
and ask
right
for permission
now.
to enter.
Alexandra
She kicked
Eala
that
just
door
put the
clean off
Philippines
its
on the
hinges
global
and
tennis
stormed
map.
through
And
like
trust
she
me,
owned the place.
this is just the
And the
beginning.
tennis world
She
is still
stop
trying
what you're
to
doing
figure out what
because
hit them.
history is being
Let's
made
rewind the
right
tape
now.
a bit and look at
Alexandra
how we got
Eala
here,
just put the
because Alex's
Philippines on the
recent
global
rise has
tennis
been
map.
nothing
And
short
trust
of
me,
meteoric.
this is just the
The
beginning.
2025
She
season was when everything changed. That was the year Alex announced to the world that she wasn't just a promising prospect or a future star. She was here, she was ready, and she was coming for everything. She captured her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara, dominating the competition with a level of play that had commentators and analysts scrambling to recalibrate their expectations. Then came the US Open, where she made history and put on a performance that had Filipino flags waving from New York to Manila. That tournament wasn't just about wins and losses. It was about presence. It was about announcing
Stop
that
what you're doing,
Alex
because
Eala
history
belonged
is
on
being
the
made
biggest
right
stages
now.
in tennis.
Alexandra
competing
Eala
against
just put the
biggest
Philippines
names
on the global
under the
tennis
brightest
map.
lights.
And trust me,
But Alex
this
didn't
is just
rest
the
on those
beginning.
laurels. Champions never do. As 2026 dawned, she came out swinging like a woman possessed. We saw her battling through the brutal qualifiers in Abu Dhabi, taking down opponents who were supposed to be too experienced, too ranked, too everything for her to handle. We watched her showcase her skills at the Philippine Women's Open,
because history is
playing with
being
the weight
made
of
right
home
now.
crowd expectations.
Alexandra Eala
and
just put the
thriving under that
Philippines on the
pressure.
global tennis
And
map.
now,
And trust
as she
me,
prepares for
this
the
is just the
prestigious
beginning.
Qatar Open, Alex is carrying momentum, confidence, and the backing of an entire nation that is starting to realize just how special this young woman truly is. This is why Maria Ressa's words carry such incredible weight right now. The pressure on Alex's shoulders is immense. The expectations have reached stratospheric levels. Every Filipino with an internet connection is watching, hoping, praying for her success. The critics are circling, waiting for any sign of weakness. The doubters are lurking, ready to pounce if she stumbles. And in this crucial moment, to have someone like Maria Ressa, someone who understands pressure and scrutiny better than almost anyone alive, step forward and offer not just praise, but genuine understanding, that is rocket fuel for a champion's soul. But here's where this story transcends from heartwarming to absolutely extraordinary. Maria Ressa didn't just offer Alex public praise and move on with her day. No, what happened went much deeper than that. This was mentorship. This was wisdom being passed from one Filipino icon to another. This was a woman who has faced down legal persecution, systematic harassment, and attempts to silence her truth, offering hard-earned insights to a young athlete navigating her own treacherous journey in the public eye. According to sources close to both women, Ressa shared advice with Alex that you won't find in any tennis coaching manual or sports psychology textbook. Drawing from her own brutal experiences on the front lines of journalism and truth-telling, Ressa spoke to Alex about what she calls the long game. This wasn't about strategy for the next match or tips for improving her serve. This was about survival, resilience, and maintaining your
What you're
integrity
doing,
when
because
the
history
entire
is being
world
made
seems
right
determined
now.
to knock you down.
Alexandra Eala just
Ressa's
put the
message,
Philippines on the
distilled
global
from
tennis
years
map.
of standing
And trust me,
firm against
this is
oppressive
just the
forces,
beginning.
centered on mental fortitude and unwavering focus. She told Alex that as her star continues to rise, the noise will inevitably get louder. The critics will sharpen their knives. The trolls will multiply. The fake news, the manufactured controversies, the clickbait headlines designed to tear her down, all of it will intensify. We've already seen glimpses of this in Alex's career, moments where baseless rumors or unfair criticism tried to define her narrative. But Ressa's advice was crystal clear: hold the line. Your truth is on the court. Your racket is your voice. Do not let them break your focus. Think about the power of that message. Here is a Nobel Peace Prize winner, someone who literally risked her freedom and her life to stand for truth, telling a young tennis player that her battleground is just as important, just as meaningful. Ressa understands that representation matters. She knows that when Alex walks onto that court, she isn't just an individual athlete. She is every young Filipino kid who has been told they're not good enough, not from the right country, not from the right background. She is proof that excellence knows no geographic boundaries. And Ressa wanted Alex to understand the magnitude of what she represents without being crushed by the weight of it. When you stand there, alone on the baseline, remember that you are never truly alone, Ressa reportedly told Alex. An entire nation stands behind you. Can you imagine receiving those words from someone like Maria Ressa? Can you picture the impact of having that kind of wisdom, that kind of support, flowing into you at exactly the moment when you need it most? This is what separates good athletes from great ones, talented players from legendary champions. The great ones understand that their journey is bigger than themselves, and they find strength in that understanding rather than being paralyzed by it. Ressa also spoke to Alex about resilience, the kind that doesn't just weather storms, but learns to harness their energy. She shared insights about facing adversity with grace, about maintaining your principles when compromise would be easier, about finding your center when everything around you is chaos. These are lessons that Ressa learned through fire, through battles that tested every fiber of her being. And now she was offering them freely to a young woman embarking on her own hero's journey, just in a different arena. The mental game in professional tennis is absolutely brutal. These players spend countless hours alone, traveling from tournament to tournament, away from family and friends, living out of hotels and suitcases, facing the constant pressure of performance. One bad week can tank your ranking. One injury can derail months of progress. The loneliness can be crushing. The doubt can creep in during the quiet moments. And to have someone like Maria Ressa acknowledge that struggle, validate it, and offer wisdom for navigating it, that is priceless. That is the kind of mentorship that can sustain an athlete through the darkest moments of their career. Now, you might be wondering how Alex responded to this incredible moment. Did she shrink from the weight of Ressa's words? Did she feel overwhelmed by the expectations being placed on her young shoulders? Did she politely accept the praise and move on? Absolutely not. This is Eala we're talking about, and she responded exactly how you'd expect a champion to respond, with fire, with passion, with a determination that could melt steel. While the intimate details of their exchange remain private, the essence of Alex's response has resonated throughout the Filipino sports community. We're told that Alex, with the poise of a veteran and the hungry heart of a lioness on the hunt, made what can only be described as a sacred promise to Maria Ressa. This wasn't a casual commitment or empty words offered in the heat of the moment. This was a vow, a blood pact with history itself. Alex promised Ressa that she would not just play to win matches or climb rankings or accumulate prize money. She vowed that she would play to inspire. Every victory would carry meaning beyond the scoreboard. Every appearance on court would be a testament to the Filipino spirit that Ressa herself embodies in her own work: resilient, unyielding, refusing to be broken or diminished. Alex committed to being more than just a great tennis player. She committed to being a symbol of possibility, a beacon of hope for every young Filipino athlete who has ever been told that their dreams are too big or their ambitions too grand. I have dreamt of bringing pride to my country, Alex has said many times throughout her career, but those who were present for this exchange say there was something different in her voice this time. This wasn't just rhetoric or a soundbite for the media. This was a young woman staring into the eyes of one of the most important Filipinos alive and making an unbreakable promise. She vowed that no matter how high she climbs, whether she reaches the top 40, breaks into the top 20, or achieves her ultimate dream of cracking the top 10, her feet would remain firmly planted on Filipino soil. Her identity, her pride, her sense of who she is and what she represents would never waver. This promise to Maria Ressa has taken on almost mythical proportions in the days since it was made. It represents a passing of the torch from one generation of Filipino excellence to the next. It symbolizes the unbreakable bond between Filipinos who dare to dream big and work relentlessly to achieve those dreams. It shows the world that Filipino pride isn't just words or empty nationalism. It's a driving force, a source of power that fuels extraordinary achievements against overwhelming odds. Now let's talk about why this entire story matters so much, why it's exploding across social media and dominating conversations everywhere Filipinos gather, both physically and digitally. We are living through what historians will likely call the golden age of Filipino sports. This isn't hyperbole. This is objective reality. We watched Hidalgo Diaz lift Olympic gold and shatter every expectation about what Filipino athletes could achieve. We saw Carlos Eala defy gravity and flip his way into the history books with performances that left the world stunned. We've witnessed Filipino athletes breaking through in basketball, boxing, and numerous other sports. But tennis? Tennis represents something uniquely challenging and therefore uniquely significant. Tennis is a global colossus, a sport that has been dominated for decades by players from Europe, North America, and increasingly Australia. The infrastructure, the training facilities, the coaching expertise, the financial backing, all of it has been concentrated in specific parts of the world. For a player from the Philippines, a country without the same tennis infrastructure or tradition, to break through into the upper echelons of the WTA rankings is nearly unprecedented. It requires not just talent, but an almost superhuman level of dedication, sacrifice, and resilience. It means training away from home from a young age, competing in a system designed for others, fighting for every scrap of recognition and support. When Alex walks onto the court in Doha or Paris or New York or any of the prestigious tournaments on the circuit, she isn't just representing herself. She is the Philippines incarnate. Every Filipino watching sees themselves in her struggle, identifies with her journey, draws inspiration from her refusal to accept limits. Maria Ressa understands this dynamic intimately because she lives it herself in a completely different battlefield. When Ressa stood up for press freedom and truth-telling, she wasn't just fighting for herself. She was representing every Filipino who believes in democracy, who refuses to be silenced, who demands accountability from those in power. The parallel between Ressa's fight and Alex's journey is striking, and it's why this alliance between them feels so natural and so powerful. Ressa recognizes that Alex is engaged in a war of representation. Every time Alex wins a match against a higher-ranked opponent, she is sending a message to the tennis establishment. Every time she holds her own in three-set battles against players with far more resources and support systems, she is proving that talent and determination can overcome structural disadvantages. Every time she walks onto court carrying the Philippine flag on her sleeve, she is fighting for respect, for recognition, for the right to be seen as an equal among the tennis elite. This is why Ressa sees a kindred spirit in Alex. Both women are warriors, just fighting different battles on different fronts for the same ultimate cause, elevating the Philippines and proving that Filipino excellence is second to none. The story of Alex Eala is far from finished. In fact, we're probably still in the early chapters of what will be a long and illustrious career. But this moment, this exchange with Maria Ressa, this promise that was made and the recognition that was given, this will stand as a pivotal point in the narrative. Years from now, when people tell the story of how Alex Eala became one of the greatest tennis players the Philippines has ever produced,
because history is being made right now. Alexander Eala just put the Philippines on the global tennis map, and trust me, this is just the beginning.
Earned through her own battles. The moment when that athlete accepted the wisdom, made a sacred promise, and then went out and backed it up with performances that shook the tennis world. This is the stuff that legends are made of. This is the intersection of talent, timing, support, and determination that creates iconic moments in sports history. And we, the fans, the supporters, the Filipino community around the world, we get to witness it all unfolding in real time.
Hard part is you don't know what it's like until you are attacked. And that's part of the reason I would like some of the men from Silicon Valley to actually trade places with us.
Can you give us an update on what you're feeling on your right leg, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, there's a bit of discomfort and
Today,
Facts win. Truth wins. Justice wins.